Once, there was a creator with a blank canvas so vast he carved within it 3 pieces, one of light, one of dark, and one of void. These 3 pieces would become the Trinity, a triad of goddesses dedicated and devoted to keeping a balance of sorts within the creator's new universe. The first and thus oldest of the Trinity created was that of Angela. She would be the upholder of light, time, and charity. She would remain in a realm all her own known as Kalina. There she would craft wondrous sculptures of art that also doubled as her agents known as the Einzel.
Look upon my goals and you'll find companionship. Look upon my agents and you will find guidance. Look upon me and you'll find warmth. I am the sum of greater parts. If only those parts could come together every now and then instead of driving apart. Oh, don't mind your Aunt Lilith. Despite how she feels and what she says, I'm not even really keeping up the conflict for my own personal interests. I'm doing it to keep her entertained. Ah, Pandora. Sometimes I feel like fate dealt her a bad hand. So as long as the universe stands, I will try to be there as part of her foundation.
The second and thus middle child was known as Lilith. She would be upholder of darkness, space, and selfishness. She would remain in the realm of Ubayu, where flakes, parasites, and genuine pieces of her own flesh would fall off in its large sea, becoming her agents, the Voksha.
The vile, vast essence of my soul can eclipse even the brightest of stars. The very flesh that I bear falls apart each and every second to hour that I wish it to, in order for this spatial expansion to continue. Child, you have divine blood. How interesting. Could you be part of the family, perhaps? Oh, the gull of that younger sister of mine. She'd be a nuisance if not for these adorable theatrics. Why did I start conflict? Simple boredom. My whole existence is expansion, a lonely, shallow, and tiresome goal. So I had to liven it up a bit. You know how it is. My sister, she's the one who created life and gave it will. Within will comes choice. If the choice is deemed improper by general social standards, my agents are allowed to punish.
The third and youngest of the Trinity was Pandora. She would be the upholder of void and chaos. Her agents would be born shortly after her sisters in order to quell their constant conflict. They would be known as humans. Needless to say, they did not come in a standard mold and were quite remarkable when given choice.
The whole family ordeal is inconsequential to me, but since you seek it out so hard, this would inevitably mean the Creator is your grandfather. You're a shrine maiden, I heard? Seems like you've been in quite a lucrative business. Now that's the last thing I needed, those two fighting again. Your father was, well, he was a guy.
Some odd millennia after birth, Lilith grew bored, and with her duties starting to become slightly draining, she then hatched an idea to kill the time in between her actions and duties. Why not wage war against her sisters? At this point, Pandora had no agents, and as such, she sought to wage war against her sister Angela instead. Angela, unprepared, lost the first conflict, reassessed, and then attacked back at her sister Lilith. Seeing how much enjoyment Lilith got out of these conflicts, Angela decided to keep them up as a way to keep her entertained, while also allowing her to blow off steam. These conflicts would come to be known as the Holy Wars. Their wars raged up until Pandora's agent's creation. When the first true humans were finished, Angela and Lilith came to an interesting conclusion. All 3 fractions could wage war for time immemorial. However, this is not what her agents were for. She explained that her agents were designed to give life to the lifeless and then return to the primordial sea that is Jormungandr, setting up a continuous cycle of life and death.